Peace, peace. Hope everybody doing well. All right. Today we got a taper fade, quick 5 tips. It's not going to be much talking in this video. Just going to let the music vibe out and just give a quick little breakdown. Like always, you want to make sure you comb out your actual canvas before you start. All right. Prep the canvas before you start to do the work. After that, you're going to set in your format lines. For this one, we're going to be doing a skin tapered fade. So it's going to be closed clipper. All right. So you're going to grab whatever clipper you have, close it, and do your first format. Pay in mind to your reference points, which is your tragus. All right. So where your tragus is, you want to make that first format line a little bit above it to make sure it's a mid fade. All right. After you do that, you do the same thing on the back, do it on the other side. Next thing I want you to do, guys, all right, I want you to break down the weight above where your actual transition or your taper is going to be placed. In doing so, you're going to start to break down and debulk that area above it. All right, so this right here, this first steps you're going to be doing is all going to be debulking, going with the grain, and you're molding and scoping out the place where that taper is actually going to sit so that you don't have to fight with that transition pocket later, and you keep your taper in that same position that the client wants it to be in. You never want to give a client a taper that's higher than they want, or, you know what I'm saying, just give a client not the same haircut that they have envisioned, all right? So your job is to make sure that on this canvas, you create the image that the client wants to see and that you'll also be pleased with and not fighting with as much, all right? So after all your debulking, then that's when you start to go against the grain, that's when your fade is going to come in, and you're going to use your corners to transition that pocket from darkest to the lightest, to the mid darkest, to the lightest section. All right, just breaking down that taper, constantly combing the client's hair to make sure you're placing that hair in the right direction so you're not fighting with that hair. All right, especially on coarse hair. All right, from here, you're just going to break down your guards. All right, once you start going against the grain, you're going to start going one guard, open mid close, 1/16 open mid close. Then you're going to get down to your open clipper, open mid close. All right, just breaking down that transition, constantly combing. Your biggest thing also you want to keep in your mind, you want to place your right guards into your right positions, meaning you wouldn't put an open clipper that's higher up by the B point because that's not where your lowest point is. So just always bear in mind and pay attention to how you're doing and going through these transition pockets. Same thing you do on one side, you do on the other. All right, just break down that pocket. All right, here now, what I'm gonna do here is just break down a little bit of the weight that's behind the ears, just to give it a nice blend behind the ear, so that he doesn't have all that hair sticking out around his ear, and it gives it more shape and form to the actual style. Now I'm gonna start breaking down that nape line, the bottom. Remember, it's skinned out. You don't have to worry about trying to get a harsh line. Lower part of the client's nape. Make sure you go around them ears. All right. What you do on one side, you do the other. Making sure that your outline is really, you're not fighting with the hair. As you can see, I'm just tapping with my trimmers, all right, because I already did my prep. So I'm gonna start a little clipper over comb, trimmer over comb, just to break down a little of those like dark spots that I see as I comb it out. I'm gonna touch it up again. These small details you do is what's gonna help your client haircut really pop, and it's gonna help your client's haircut last, because your client's not gonna go back and comb and groom his hair the same way that, as barbers, we groom their hair to prep for the cut and prep the canvas. So you just wanna make it super easy for your client to take care of their hair, all right? You can also tell by, you see how I'm combing the line, that line's not really moving. I'm really just detailing and killing anything that I'm thinking overlaps that line, all right? You do the same thing on your opposite side. All right, now I'm gonna debulk a little bit of that weight that's on the front. Sorry about the angle. I was like, I ain't gonna front, I was kind of zoned in on this haircut. All right, I'm taking that 2 guard and I'm just removing a little bit of that weight on the front that's gonna overlap that line. Pardon. Caught a phone call. All right. So as you can see, I'm always combing towards where I'm placing my line. All right. I don't want to fight with the hair. I want to just be an easy transition. All right. Combing, tapping, combing, tapping. All right. The more you comb and the more you tap, that's when you know that that line ain't going nowhere. So when he goes home and he washes his hair, that line ain't gonna go nowhere because of all these little combs that you're actually doing on that actual perimeter. That's what's really bringing that line to life, all right? especially when you're using enhancements. A lot of people like to use enhancements to create the line, and then the client goes home and washes their hair, does whatever, and they don't have a line. Remember, man, we're charging top dollar for these haircuts, all right? You want to make sure that when your client goes home, he's just as happy as when he left the shop, weeks later. That's what's going to bring that repeat client. That's what that client, he's going to tell other people about his barber, so forth. All right. Sorry about this camera angle, but you guys get the gist of it. Tap. Just creating that line. I'm very light on the enhancements. A little bit of holding spray. Gonna go back in, tap the line a little more, comb it down and see what I'm working with.
What do you want from me?
More.
How much more successful do you want me to be?
More successful.
How many records can my records break?
More records.
But I'm the best.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
What the does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
You're welcome.
What the is he talking about?